Hi, everyone. We're the Good Doctors of Abbey Research. I'm Dr. Kristen.
And Dr. Erin here.
And welcome to our second installment of How to Survive These Times. Capital
The Doctor's Guidebook to Surviving the End of Times.
The End of Times. There's a lot to be said professionally about what's going on right now, and we're saying those in our webinars. And if that's something that you are interested in, things like how to help remote employees, what are long-term social changes, kind of all of the more meta, huge conversations, we're having those, don't worry. In this particular video series, what we're having is a little bit more of how do you get through the day?
Yeah. This is kind of the stand-in for our pop culture series, because neither of us really have the space to do the pop culture things we planned. So instead, we're just going to talk about the ways in which we're using pop culture and art to help us survive.
So today's focus is going to be books and music, or really more broadly, reading material and audio material.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So in terms of audio material, as Dr. Erin and I were talking offline, we are both listening to a whole lot of folk music right now.
Lots of gentle Appalachian sounds for me right now.
Yeah, I'm on the band The Highwomen quite a lot.
Yes, I listened to, over the weekend, one of my favorite artists is a man named Gregory Alan Isakov, and I listened to his playlist probably for like 4 days in a row. So it's either very like nice instrumental music, folksy music, or occasionally, sometimes I feel like dancing in my kitchen. So yesterday, I did some of that to my gym playlist, which is not getting used otherwise. So there was some Dua Lipa in there, which is great.
I love Dua Lipa.
Yeah, Don't Start Now is a great tune that I just play on repeat. There's a song called Human Right that's the dancing is a human right are the lyrics, and I was grooving to that last night while I was making my dinner. So unless I need to physically move my body to like get some energy going, super chill.
Yeah, I'm listening to a lot of things that I can sing along to. I'm still driving, and so I switch back and forth between audio material like podcasts and audiobooks, and then songs. And the songs, like for me, this is not a time to introduce myself to new artists. It's a time to like scream the thing. So for me, there's been a lot of Taylor Swift song, The Man, right now.
Yes, what a tune.
Screaming along to that, some screaming along to Dixie Chicks. I'm in a real surrounding myself with women place, evidently.
I was going to say, I bet you're listening to Dixie Chicks on the drive-in.
Yeah. And Sarah Bareilles is a perpetual of mine. She has recovered from COVID-19, so I'm really glad to hear.
I didn't know she was ill. Oh.
Yeah, she put it on her Instagram that she was coming out of it, and a couple of my music lover friends were like, "Oh my, thank God."
Oh Jesus, could you imagine? Oh.
So that's but audio material wise, I do listen to a whole lot of true crime podcasts. And there are a lot of ones that I hit subscribe to and then completely forget. And this has become a real time of catching up on some things. I listen to, if you are a true crime person at all and you don't know the Wondery brand, then you're really missing out, because they do some really well produced beginning to end capsule stories, like 6 hours kind of thing. Because there are podcasts that like it's a new story every episode. Nice. And it's kind of rambling and wandering. And I love those too. But I also love these capsule series. So I just listened to this one called The Dating Game Killer, which was a guy named Rodney Alcala, who was a serial killer and a rapist. I believe he's now died in prison. And he's like possibly one of the most prolific of all time. And the way he got caught was that he appeared on The Dating Game. And a detective clocked it and was like,
I remember that vaguely.
Yeah.
Speaking of dating games, SNL this past week, one of the really funny skits that they did via Zoom was like dating after the coronavirus. And it was like, who's left or whatever. I forget what it's called. But the premise was that like there were only not very attractive males left, like not like physically attractive, but just like personality attractive wise. And the women were very desperate because they hadn't been out of their homes and they hadn't had sex in a very long time with another human. And they all started like they all started by introducing themselves and saying how many vibrators they'd broken in the like quarantine, which was hilarious. But yeah,
oh my gosh,
dating after the coronavirus is going to be fascinating.
Dating during it. I have some friends who are like currently on Tinder and talking
like, what
about.
Do you have like Zoom dates? I don't.
No, they do. Like that's at least what my one friend is doing. Where they like she was seeing some guys at the beginning of this all when like we were all still kind of. And she's not in New York. She's in a Midwestern American town where like things are a little bit. My friends in New York stopped seeing seeing strangers immediately.
Yeah.
But this girl's in Kansas City. And so it's a little bit, more spread out there, full stop.
Yeah.
So she was on, like, she was still swiping right on people. And then when the social distancing stuff came down, she changed her profile to be like, it's all going to be on Zoom. So if you're not into a conversation, I'm not your girl. And she's actually had more dates.
Amazing.
Because everyone just wants to talk.
Oh, I'm sure she's just met really interesting people, even if like nothing comes out of it.
She's spending like hours every night on Zoom with randoms. I was like, can you please start a podcast? Like, could you please?
I barely have the energy to talk to my family and friends. But I appreciate that she does. And I would love to hear about it. Yes. In some form of podcast,
no, I couldn't.
Or YouTube series.
No, could not do it. She's a like she works in higher ed, but like she's essentially a therapist and just always wants to sit down with people and be like, tell me your whole story.
Sure. Wow. Fast. Like I would love the diary of her experience, like the video diary. Night 17. Today I spoke to, although you wouldn't want to disclose people's personal information, but
no. But like today I spoke to a food service worker from Colorado and blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Oh, how interesting. Yes. So in terms of reading material, we tangented a little bit there. Tangented, that's not a word. It's fine.
It is now.
We've both discovered that we can't read anything new. So if you're in that boat, if you're in the reading new things boat, fair dues. Everybody's, different. I
can read new nonfiction. I cannot read new fiction.
Like we've been reading new nonfiction for work. I can read books for work, although I read the one that I did last week was a real struggle, the Equality for All.
It sounded like a struggle.
Because it was, and the books I have coming up, like, for our next reviews, like, Dear America is not going to be super happy, nor Not a Crime to Be Poor.
Yeah, I've got Rage Becomes Her.
Yeah, so it's no surprise to you guys that when we're reading this for work, for not work, we're reading, absolute fluff. I've finished this weekend. I won't show you because my Kindle is not that exciting, but I have an actual book. So
romance is amazing.
Romance novels. There's just enough tension to keep you going. Happily ever after at the end.
Guaranteed. Witty dialogue.
Historical romance I find nice because it's completely like it's not what we're going through right now.
Yeah,
absolutely. Like that, those are set like Victorian era. So like even
earlier, it's Edwardian. Yeah, it's like Regency. Yeah.
Industrial Revolution.
Her Ravenels are Industrial Revolution. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ravenels are Wallflowers, I think, are technically Edwardian.
Yep.
Ravenels you're getting into Victoria because it's like, literally, I'm just reading one right now and it started in 1876.
There you go. Okay.
So yeah, I've been rereading that. And next up for the Good Doctors, we are going to have a Jane Austen book club, literally, not the movie, our own Jane Austen book club, and reread all of Jane Austen together. Why not? Because I can't handle anything new or potentially strenuous at all.
And I'm reading a lot. I'm reading like romance. Romance is my chosen genre, full stop. So whether that's historical or contemporary or steampunk or paranormal or whatever, romance is my basic. That's what I like the most, followed by mysteries and thrillers.
Yeah.
And then like general fiction. I'm not super into books where like people are just being sad and that's the premise.
No.
Which is how I view literary fiction. It's just people being sad, and that's the premise.
Like Jane Eyre. Like, why is Jane Eyre romantic? It's not. It's super depressing. Unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion, but one that a hill we will die on, that Jane Eyre is not romantic.
Jane Eyre is not romantic. It's abusive.
But so I'm a big fan fiction reader and writer, both. And the thing I like about fan fiction is that you already know the characters, whether the fan fiction is an alternate universe or one that sticks a little bit close to canon. It feels real familiar. Like you have the map already, and all you're doing is getting a new set of directions.
Yeah.
And so that feels really comforting. So I'm currently very into Marvel fan fiction, but this weekend I took a detour back to my old tried and true Harry Potter.
The OG fanfic for you.
And that felt really good. I've been reading and writing fanfic since I was 12. So this is a big part of my literary life, but it's very, very comforting. And we're finding in the fanfic kind of community that people are consuming even more. Like the big website AO3, Archive of Our Own, had to like redo all of its algorithms and servers and everything because servers kept crashing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's not surprising, though. People need to escape, and they need to escape.
And I'll say, as a writer, the stuff that I wrote that is really, really different than the current world is getting a lot more attention than stuff I wrote that's more serious. So I don't think we are alone.
No, I was trying, and we'll save this discussion for when we talk about TV in the next coming weeks as well. But I was like trying to explain to my mother why so many people watch Tiger King. And that was the best explanation. I said, like, I think it would have been popular no matter when it dropped, but the fact that it dropped during the pandemic, it is so far removed from anything we are dealing with currently, that it is that much of a total escape to think, unless you are watching Tiger King right now and you are a collector of exotic animals, then it's your life. But for most of us, it is so far removed from anything we understand, and I think that's what people are looking for. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. We'll talk more about TVs and documentaries and stuff in our next coping mechanism video. But
so we want to know what you're doing, especially for your audio. For this video, we want to know for audio and literary things, what is happening? Are you somebody who's going back and reading through all the long articles that you've saved for months on Facebook and never got around to?
Not me. I just keep saving them. Who knows? Someday I'll read them.
Someday I'll read them. I have a friend who's decided to go back through and read some, is reading Ron Chernow's giant biographies of people because she needs projects.
Sure.
And that's really working for her. My husband is exclusively playing new video games.
Right.
He can't read anything right now. Not even articles are sometimes overwhelming for him. So we're all doing things differently, but we're just really curious for if you are reading as a coping mechanism at all, what are you reading? And if you're listening to anything, what are you listening to?
Give us the recommendations. We probably won't read them unless we already have, or listen to them unless we already are. But
we will when this is over.
We'll save a list for post-pandemic. And we want to have conversations about what everybody is doing to get through.
And so next time we'll talk about TV. Preview Tiger King will probably be part of the conversation.
I will have finished it by then.
Because it is something with a capital S.
It is something to talk about, isn't it?
Yeah. So there will be other conversation for anyone who is part of the Tiger King backlash. And if we speak about Joe Exotic, you actually start twitching. There will be other content as part of that video. Don't worry about it. And we will see you then.
Take care. Be safe, everyone.
Be safe, everyone. Bye.